Oh, these images? Yeah, I made those in MidJourney. It's kinda become my thing. Hey, Glibotree, I thought you played AI Dungeon. Shut up. I'm an artist. It's annoyingly easy to turn a text prompt into a beautiful picture, and I kinda can't stop. MidJourney is now open for anyone to try, so let me quickly introduce to you what you might see when you click the link in the description. At first, MidJourney just looks like a Discord server. It has dozens of channels and there's a constant influx of new messages. And then you look a little closer and you notice everyone is just running the same bot command, /imagine. Okay, so you're a little lost. The first thing you need to know about generating images in MidJourney is that it's done entirely in Discord. So that Discord link you clicked, yeah, it took you to the right place. Before I go on and tell you, quote, everything you need to know about MidJourney, I need to read this quick disclaimer. MidJourney is still in beta. User interface, specific features, and generation models are subject to change and will likely improve over time. I have no affiliation with the MidJourney team. I am not being paid to make this video, and no one is threatening my life as incentive for a positive review. Only purchase a MidJourney subscription if you can afford it and you personally believe it's a good idea. On the other hand, a subscription on YouTube is completely free, so there's no reason not to scroll down and click subscribe right now. When you first join, you essentially have a free trial, which gives you access to the Discord server and the website. Also the ability to create about 25 images. This is done by going to one of these newbie rooms. My god, there are 96 of them, which are just channels on the server, and in those rooms is a bot that listens to MidJourney specific commands, notably /imagine. This command uses MidJourney's proprietary model to turn text into beautiful works of art. Type /imagine, then enter your prompt. Next, it sends your request to a server farm, then in around a minute, it spits out a grid of 4 images based on your prompt. Once it's completely generated, it gets saved to MidJourney's website, and 9 buttons appear under the Discord message. 4 of them are labeled with a U, another 4 are labeled with a V, and 1 looks like a little undo button. The U stands for upscale and takes the preview of the grid and gives you a bigger image. The V stands for variations and lets you start from one of those images in the grid and generate a completely new grid of 4 images based on that. Those little numbers are how you pick an image to either upscale or make variations on. It counts up like you read, so starting in the top left it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That pesky little undo button lets you retry and generate a completely new grid with a new seed. That's the basic flow. And for 25 generations, those 9 buttons are gonna keep you busy. Type in a prompt, generate a grid, and explore upscales of MidJourney's limitless creativity. But eventually, your free generations will inevitably run out. If you decide you want to do more, you will either need to create an endless stream of Discord accounts, or more likely pay for a plan. You can type /subscribe to the Discord bot, or you can go directly to the website and subscribe there. MidJourney, in my opinion, is generous with their plans. No matter which one you get, you will have access to take your generations out of the server and into a direct message with just you and the bot, which is so nice. You'll also get access to the community feed where you can get rewarded for ranking the generations of other members. So the basic membership for $10 a month gets 200 minutes of GPU processing power for generating art. On average, that's 200 images. Generating the grid the first time takes just about a minute, upscales take a little more than a minute, and variations take a little less, and it averages out in the end. The next level up is their standard membership, which is really an unlimited plan, with 15 GPU hours of priority generations and as many generations as you want if you're willing to wait. This is what I chose. And if you're interested in really diving into AI art and want to find your style, having this plan for a month or 2 is absolutely worth it. I also want to mention the Enterprise plan. If you are using MidJourney as part of your job and you work for a big enough company, MidJourney requires you pay $600 per year for this plan. This also gives you private by default, which is nice if you don't want your generations to go into the public feed. You can also buy private as an add-on for $20 a month. If you end up purchasing one of those plans, you'll have enough chances to generate images that you might want to go for a specific look and feel. MidJourney is super customizable, and that's one of my favorite things about it and one of its main advantages as an art generator over some other models you might find. In the /imagine command, you can put any number of parameters to control the generation and the output. Let me run through each of these really quickly so you can see for yourself what they do. Width takes a number of pixels and controls the width of the image. Height works exactly the same way. Aspect ratio, put in two numbers with a colon between them to control the width and the height at the same time. Uplight is super useful, and it defaults the model to using a simpler upscaler that doesn't try to add details to the original. If your faces are getting cracks in them or antennae are floating in the sky, Uplight will help clean that up. HD uses a different algorithm that's supposed to be better for larger and detailed images, but with maybe a sacrifice to form. I don't use this one too much, I don't think it looks awesome. Test uses a new algorithm that's been trained on user ratings and gives a generally more favorable output. Fast is another algorithm that runs faster if you want to save on GPU hours, and it still gives you some pretty great results, especially if you're looking for a painterly or abstract feel. Vibe is an old algorithm that MidJourney used to use and is pretty great for textures and vibes, but the details are sometimes lacking. Vibe Fast is pretty self-explanatory. It's a faster version of the old algorithm and also has some cool results if you know when to use it. Stop takes a number between 10% and 100% and lets you stop the generation partway through the process. Seed lets you normalize the seeds so you can get a better idea of the effect of changing your prompt. Same seed lets you pick a seed for all 4 of the images in the grid, so they all look pretty similar. Video saves a progress video to the MidJourney servers that, if you react with an email icon, will DM you a link to the MP4 that shows your image being generated. It looks like this. So that is 90% of the possible parameters, and I will get to the others in just a moment. But first, the prompt itself. MidJourney has systems in place that kick in when your prompt is underspecified. If you're familiar with writing AI art prompts, you might need to relearn some things. The strategies you use in Disco or VQGAN will still work, but they aren't necessary. Sometimes even very simple prompts in MidJourney have impressive results. MidJourney in some ways already has a style, so the need for things like trending on ArtStation or 4K wallpaper just kind of goes away. MidJourney is artistic and beautiful by default, so there's no reason to try to outsmart it with keywords. Just ask for what you want. Short prompts can give some amazing results. And if you want to fuse characters, make something out of Swiss cheese, or just pick a wild style, you absolutely can. With time, you'll get a feel for how changes to your prompts changes the image, and you'll have unlocked an artistic freedom unlike anything you've felt before. When you master writing prompts, you eventually start hitting the limitation of language, and more importantly, language that AIs can understand. These generation models see words and think every word should end up in the image. So it's really hard to say, not this. It just can't handle the negative. So if you wanted to make a portrait of a ghost without a head, suddenly the head is the most important part about the image to the AI. With your new prompt mastery, though, you might have a few more ideas. The word portrait probably implies head in the eyes of an AI. So you could switch that out for painting. And maybe you could use a word like headless, so there's no relying on the negative sentiment of the word without. With those two things, you might come up with something along the lines of a painting of the exposed neck of a headless ghost. And when that doesn't work, you pretty quickly start describing levels of gore that MidJourney refuses to turn into images. But where language models have fallen short, MidJourney has found a solution. Introducing weights. Any word or phrase can be manually weighted in the eyes of MidJourney. After the first part of the prompt, put 2 colons, then a number, positive or negative. Big numbers mean the AI will think mainly about that phrase when generating the image. Negative numbers means the AI will go out of its way to specifically try and avoid that concept. Those two colons split up your prompt into sections where the weights apply, and you can put in as many as you want. The only rule is, at the end, when you add your weights together, it needs to come out to a positive number. Basically, you need to specify what you are generating more than you specify what you're not generating. Also, you should know that, as a rule, non-specified weights default to 1. This is a little weird to think about, so you might want to see it in action. Take this for example. See how the prompt, oil painting of a baseball field with a simple color palette, trippy and dreamlike, green, and Renaissance style is all split up by these colons and a weight. So this is mostly an oil painting of a baseball field. It has a simple color palette, it's a little bit trippy, and there is absolutely no green. But what's cool about this is you have complete control over it. You can make it the opposite of trippy just by changing the 0.25 to a negative. Also, I can feel the AI steaming with hatred about not being able to use the color green for this baseball field, so go ahead, you can use green. But weights, they're a pretty powerful tool and are way underused, probably because they look a little scary. I mean, this is so much stuff in your prompt. But honestly, if you give them a go, you'll be able to get results out of MidJourney that no one else can. By the way, this is where those commands I didn't mention earlier come up. So --no and then a word sets that word to have a weight of negative 0.5. So if you don't want something in an image, say no of that image, which leads me to, of course, a portrait of a ghost torso, no head. Oh, and there's also an image weight type, so --iw and a number. It's the weight between your text prompt and your... Wait, hang on. We are most of the way through describing MidJourney, and I still haven't told you everything about how the /imagine command works. So /imagine has 3 parts: the text prompt, the parameters, and the image prompt. If you're familiar with Disco Diffusion's initial image or DALL-E 2's in-painting, forget what you know. This is nothing like that. Your image prompt lets you take the essence of one or multiple images and gives that essence to MidJourney as a source for inspiration. This is complicated and really hard to get a feel for. You and we speak in words, but MidJourney speaks in images. Words are just a means to an end for these AI art models. If you want to play around with this, here's what I'd recommend. Browse the web for some images you like. Here, I chose 4. Now right-click, copy the image address, and paste it into MidJourney. Repeat for as many images as you like, then press enter and witness a masterpiece create itself. They say an image speaks 1,000 words, and now, somehow, MidJourney knows what they say. I do want to leave you with a couple of my own thoughts. I hope I've poured enough value into this video that I've earned your attention for just a little bit longer. I think a lot of people are scared of AI-generated art. I think there's a sentiment, a fear, a lingering question that if computers become artists, what does humanity even have anymore? And I think I want to flip the script on that and instead ask this. If human artists got a tool that let them work 100 times faster and in thousands of complex and new styles, and this tool could be learned by anyone after just a quick YouTube video, what might art become? This tool is here, and it's already getting better fast. I promise you, it's a blessing, not a curse. AI-generated art does not replace human expression. It's going to be a catalyst that empowers people to explore their taste, explore their mind's eye, and create what's true to them. Thank you so much for watching. If you end up generating something cool or just want to join the Glibbatry community, I've tossed an invite link in the description to our Discord, the Glibbacord, if you will. Otherwise, if you like this video and want to hear my thoughts on writing prompts for Disco Diffusion, maybe check this one out. It's another well-edited and scripted one that I'm pretty proud of. Until next time.